We live in a world where people don't care much about God's house anymore. I've never really understood that. Now, please forgive me. You say, well, you're a pastor and that's why you act like that. No, I remember the morning I got saved in a Baptist Student Union building in a university in Troy, Alabama. That was the morning. That afternoon, on my way to work, I worked in a pallet manufacturing company. That afternoon, on my way to work, covered in my nasty, dirty clothes, covered in sawdust and grease, I stopped by this little church. And I walked into the church, and the pastor came out and said, "Can I help you, son?" And I said, "I just got saved today, and this is going to be where I go to church." Nobody ever taught me that. Nobody ever put that in me. I'd grown up unsaved. I'd grown up heathen. But there's something in me. Now, see, I see that when I look at Jacob's life. When Jacob had that incredible encounter with God, he said, "Lord, I'm going to be a tither. And Lord, this rock that I set up is going to be the place for worship." When you really get genuinely saved, when you get for real salvation, as I call it, you want the house of God. Now notice when the people of Israel came back to God, when they'd been through this great revival in Nehemiah's time, notice what these people said in chapter 10, verse 39. "The people and the Levites must bring these offerings of grain, new wine, and olive oil to the storehouses and place them in the sacred containers near the ministering priests and gatekeepers and the singers. We promise together not to neglect the temple of our God." We promise together not to neglect the temple of our God. In my family, we always put God's house ahead of our house. We've lived our lives like that. Those of you that have walked with us for a lifetime now, you've watched us do that. Nobody ever twisted our arms and forced us to do that. We just made a commitment. We will not neglect the house of God. Now, in this world that we live in, where people are telling you, you don't need to go to church anymore, just, I'll study with you online and you send me offerings. They're not taking care of you. The people of God have always had a place to worship. Well, with the New Testament church, don't give me New Testament church. Please, I'll give you a Bible study on church locations and how they met together in Solomon's Portico, and they met together in the lecture hall of Tyrannus, and they met in the home in Troas. I mean, please, God's people have always had a place to meet. At some point, we have to decide. For me and my family, I'm not going to neglect the house of God. For me and my family, we're going to be in church. We're going to be in God's house. We're going to build God's house. We're going to renovate it. And we're going to beautify it. And we're going to take care of God's house, because as we build God's house, God builds our house. Amen.